Assalamu alaikum everybody, मैं हूँ Fahad Khan, your channel for unstoppable success. Today we are so privileged that we are sitting with Ayub Ghauri Saab, who is the Executive Director for NETSOL and CEO and founder and person behind Hospital. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for being here, and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my humble home. I really appreciate you making time, especially when we are so conscious about social distancing and not meeting people in real life. But you made that effort. You are visiting from Canada, so I had to extend that respect to you.
Thank you so much. So we all understand कि आपका जो NETSOL का journey है, most people know about that. Today हमारा goal है कि आपके ना थोड़ा सा journey जो आपका new venture है with Hospital. Tell us more about it. What's the reason behind it and what's the vision?
It's very simple. For the past 4 years within NETSOL, I have been associated with Inspire, that is the incubator. And there I realize the youth is not really ready for startups.
Okay.
And they are missing out in few things big time. So I felt I need to create a success story as a responsible head of incubator and also a responsible businessman. So I looked around and I realized, and there was some personal reasons as well, why healthcare. So I realized healthcare is grossly underserved. So, the more I learned about healthcare in Pakistan, the more I realized there is room for making a difference. And that has been my mantra throughout my life.
You've always been the pioneer of, innovation. So one thing is you have always worked on technology. Now, what is that one thing you're working on which you see which will transform the healthcare industry in Pakistan?
Okay, so basically, what does technology do? Bring ease to the consumer. If we can't bring that ease to the consumer, we are not leveraging technology well. So technology is just the background. Technology is just the backbone. And what we offer, understanding a consumer's problem, a patient's problem, when they're looking around, when they're searching for solutions when it comes to healthcare, that is for us. Knowing what the consumer needs is very important. And Hospital is the platform that connects digitally care seekers to care providers. So whether it's doctors or labs or any facilities, patients want to connect to, that is the platform.
So you have always been known to working with youth and new upcoming generation. So in your new platform, how can youth take advantage of that or be part of something like that?
Well, basically, I talk about my journey, with the youth a lot. And I'm open to, I must have done 30, 40 different sessions online throughout this period, COVID-19 pandemic, going digital. So there's a lot of learning, how we can go, how we can learn. The lesson for youth is do not be impatient. Take your time. Gone are the days of someone hitting jackpot and a dropout 20-year-old making it big in the US. Those are jackpots. Those are like 1 in a million sort of success stories. So try to understand the market first. Try to understand the market, changing market forces first. Try to establish your credibility. Try to establish work, in the industry first. See how it is done. What kind of challenges head of business and owner of business faces. So until you have done that all, I won't suggest people to just go raw and jump into the market and be an entrepreneur.
I agree with you. We're talking about youth. We are always overestimating what we can do in a year. We want to do everything, but at the same time, don't you think we underestimate what we can do in a decade? We want instant gratification, everything now, but the results, as we know, it takes 5 years, 10 years. So what is the advice you can give for the youth when they're starting a business? What is one key thing they need to be successful financially?
First of all, when you're launching an idea, you need to get validation. And you can talk to your friends and they can either pull you down or encourage you unnecessarily. Same goes for the family, for emotional reasons or financial reasons, because if you believe you have a good idea and the family should fund it, family is, it's a double-edged sword for them. If they admire you, then they have to fund you. If they don't, if they can't fund you, they're going to pull you down. So you have to understand, you have to first of all test your idea.
Absolutely.
See what kind of acceptance there would be. And also take your time, get a mentor. Get a mentor that is relevant. So who is not in competition with you, who can give you objective advice. So finding that person.
Who was your mentor when you were young, when you were starting business? Who would you give some credit to for your success?
When I was growing up, our father has always been a role model for us. Mashallah. And mashallah, I come from a family of 7 brothers.
Wow.
Mashallah, and I'm one of the youngest, like number 6. So I see enough inspiration around me through my brothers as well. So yes, I have had influences in very early, from very early age. First from our father and then from our brothers as well.
So let's say if you're 20-year-old today, what advice would you give to yourself, or what would you do differently?
You take your time. At 20, you feel you can change the world in a year or two. Take your time. Think again. Get some experience, a real life experience where you are paying for services from your own pocket. It is very important because consumers are the ones who are going to, the bigger the consumer base, the bigger the chances of your success. So they are going to make or break you. So you need to understand their psyche. So unless you are a consumer, unless you are spending from your own pocket, you don't know what consumers would do when you are out with your services.
One thing you mentioned earlier about mentors, they play so important role, and I know that how much important role they have played in my life. So when I talk about secret of success, one of the in the top 5, I always say find the mentor and proximity. The surroundings we are with. So a young student, recent graduate, young entrepreneur, how can they find a mentor, somebody like you or somebody who has walked on that path? What advice would you give on that?
I think people like me are always available for advice or guidance or mentoring. It's a matter of you persisting. Like take example for your team, they persisted in getting this discussion and they succeeded. So the more you with honesty of purpose, the more you keep coming back to a mentor. They keep saying, okay, I don't have time, can we do it? And you keep at it. And a lot of people who are now talking to me, they tell me, how long we have been following you, 4 years, 5 years. I said, really? Let me check. And I go back to my messenger and I say, someone connected with me 2013, sometime 2015, and so on and so forth. So persistence is very important.
So message for my team, great job. Keep up the good work. Continue doing. Never give up. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much, and you giving us the opportunity. That is so means so much to us. And inshallah, I know so many people can learn from your journey too. So before we go into the fun side of the discussion, one thing I want to ask is, what, in your perspective, what is the purpose of life?
That is the most important question. You have to have the ability to see the big picture. And the big picture is not just your city, your community, your country, this world, this life, it's afterlife as well. Are you doing something good for the humanity? Are you doing something good for the community? The services, the offering you are bringing, would they be of value to the people around you, the people in general? So these are the questions you have to ask. It's absolutely important. So, I went to Silicon Valley last year and we had a pitching session and everybody was doing their pitches. Our business does this. So I was very simple and honest. And I said, what? People ask me, what do you do? I just say it in one line. I help relieve pain within people. That's all. That's what you're doing. Hospital is about helping to relieve pain. Make it less. If you can't eliminate it absolutely, but make it less pain. So this is what you're doing. So find that big purpose in life.
Big purpose. So, Ayub sir, biggest challenge in your life, what was that?
I think biggest challenge in not just my life, in anyone's life, is the change that is happening around you. How do you understand the changing dynamics, the changes that are taking place? Take example, COVID-19 pandemic.
Absolutely.
The world changed overnight. Suddenly we were in denial for a long, long time until it started hurting and affecting and impacting the people we knew, and they are no more. Sir, this is real. We need to do something different. How do we adjust? So it is one of those things. It could be a financial meltdown, a recession happening, or suddenly new opportunities opening for everyone. But within doom and gloom and adversity is the biggest opportunity.
Absolutely, I agree with that, because when there is a disaster or chaos, everybody's in a fear sitting back.
Right.
It's people who are the game changers.
The
They
brave,
take action,
the
right?
adventurers, the mavericks, they step out.
And in Pakistan with COVID-19, it's unfortunate a lot of people are losing lives, but at the same time,
Yeah.
where do you see, how will it benefit Pakistan in a long run?
I think the realities are dawning upon us. We are looking to reskill ourselves. We must learn to unlearn, relearn, and then step out. So it's very important, people who adapt. The key thing is how you adapt.
Adapt to the situation and the environment.
Absolutely. How you adapt. Well, I give you an example. So everybody was talking, first in our first phase, we were watching government going chaotic and pulling everyone in services hospital and quarantined, and a large number were not even coming out. Even now, hospitals are in chaos. I think hospitals are the best things. You go there for cure. But at the moment, there is so much despair, so much infection, that more chances are of contracting an infection there. So what do? So we were at hospital, we were looking for what can we do. We have got these people subscribing, the care providers, the hospitals, the labs, the clinics, the doctors subscribing to us. How can we make it work for people? So one fine day, something clicked and a penny dropped. I said, why can't we give the same care at home? People are fearful of stepping out, for economical reasons, and mostly and foremost health reasons. So why can't we get a bunch of doctors or hospitals subscribing, where they can send a specialist to understand, to take, what this patient is all about. It's how COVID-19 positive will affect them, their age group, their existing illnesses. So the doctor goes there and gets those details, gets the checks or sees all the reports, and then prescribes a regime for them, what they should be taking in terms of medication. Basically, it wears out by itself. If you leave people alone in a nice, healthy environment, you will come out of it. So that, that medication, that nutrition plan, very important. If there is need of oxygen, that is provided. If there is a hospital bed they need to go up and down, move, we can do that as well. And Khuda na khasta, God forbid, if they need a ventilator, we can provide that as well. We are available virtually in terms of if they need, but we will make twice, a nurse will make a call twice a day to find everything is okay. And if she needs to visit or he needs to visit, could be a male nurse as well.
Inshallah, you will be saving a lot of lives with
and money as well, and chaos. People not knowing what to do, nobody can come and visit them, at least in the comfort of the home. They are there, whether it's your parents or your sibling or your spouse, they are there, they are looked after. And so it is a solution, finding a solution, how you see it. And we are getting great inquiries at the moment, but we are also careful, not promising what we can't deliver.
That is beautiful vision what you have for hospital.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see how it will change our
Inshallah.
healthcare system, inshallah, and save lives at the same time, because the biggest thing is life. I always say it's the most precious thing we have.
Absolutely.
And we need, everybody deserve an access to it. So one of the last things I want to ask is, one decision you took in your life which changed everything. What was that?
There has been a multitude of decisions. It's not just one decision, because it has been a long journey spanning 25 years plus almost 30 years. So at every juncture, every 7-10 years, there has to be a change that has to happen if you want to grow forward. So I spent most of my younger years in the UK, and I grew up there, after graduating from California. So I spent most of the time there. But there came a time in 2001, when I felt that I need to go back and give something back. So I took that decision. It was a good decision. I learned a lot. I was exposed to many situations. But in 2013, again, I realized I've done whatever I could, and I need to go back to the UK. And I did go there, and I stayed there for 3-4 years again, in London and in Germany as well. And then an opportunity came back in Pakistan, and I thought of heading Inspire. And I thought I was ready for it, with so much experience, so much exposure, time to give back to people. And then after 3 years within Inspire, I realized I can give more proactively by being an example. So hospital is that indication.
Thank you so much for your sharing. Now let's switch to the fun side. What we're going to do is, I don't know if you're ready for this, but I know you're always ready at the same time too. So we're going to have a rapid fire round with Ayub Ghauri Saab. So I'm going to ask you one word or one line. Try to answer in one word or one line. I know it's very difficult for both of us. We are both very expressive.
I've never taken one before, so I'll try.
Okay, you can fire back at me. So let's go we're going to go fast. And what's the first thing comes to your mind, okay? So what do you desire the most?
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. What is fulfillment?
Ability to be able to do anything and everything you want to do and sleep with a good conscience.
So would that fulfillment will be for you also, sleep with a good conscience?
Absolutely. Having a good conscience is the primemost thing.
Absolutely. Because if you can't sleep properly, if you always have these things happening in your mind, what's the point of
you were unfair to somebody, and you took advantage of a situation, it's going to prick your conscience.
Okay, so what about, let's say, when I say word love, what is the first thing comes to you?
Family.
Family. The biggest weakness?
Family.
Competition.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
Wealth.
Wealth is good.
Absolutely. Fame or wealth?
Both.
Pick one.
Wealth.
Okay. People.
People are beautiful.
Pakistani youth.
Amazing. Energy.
Energy. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is your greatest achievement? One.
You talking to me and thinking I have a lot to offer, and that is fulfillment for me as well.
When you can share your success with others?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. What's the best advice you have ever received?
Don't listen to noises. Keep going.
Beautiful. I always talk about there's extra noises we are getting, external chatter and internal chatter.
Yeah.
The smarter we get to eliminate that, which voice do we need to listen to?
Absolutely.
That's changed, because mostly that doesn't matter how much money we make in our life, that voice will keep on coming, and we just need to identify.
Fahad, they are naysayers. They are naysayers everywhere. Sometimes because they care too much, and sometimes they don't want to see you going forward. Mm-hmm. Whether you'd be successful or not, but even in terms of sharing your ideas, they want to pull you back.
So say no to naysayers. Something world doesn't know about you.
My life is open book. I'm a deep romantic as well, but people know that as well.
Do you love music?
I love music. I used to hum. There was a time. I recite poetry as well. I pick on good poetry and I recite, I record it, I circulate.
Do you want to share one small share, maybe? Anything which is close to?
It is about for youth and it is about friendship. मैं यादों का किस्सा खोलूं तो कुछ दोस्त बहुत याद आते हैं. मैं गुजरे पल को सोचूं तो कुछ दोस्त बहुत याद आते हैं। ना जाने कौन सी नगरी में आबाद हैं जाकर मुद्दत से, मैं देर रात तलक जागूं तो कुछ दोस्त बहुत याद आते हैं। वो पल भर की नाराज़गियाँ और मान भी जाना पल भर में, अब खुद से भी मैं रूठूं तो कुछ दोस्त बहुत याद आते हैं, बहुत याद आते हैं।
Very well said. Very well said. Let's say, best advice you will give to yourself.
Keep going, you, but learn from your mistakes
Learn
and do not repeat them.
And what would be the advice for the youth? One thing you can tell them, Pakistani youth.
Be careful of the people who are too nice to you. It's normally the same people who are backbiting you, who are pulling you down. Be very careful. Listen to people who are giving you objective advice. What is objective advice? A balance. If you do this, this will happen. If you do that, this will happen. So that is a balanced advice. So people who are, I have been hurt badly by people who constantly sweet talk. It's human nature. Everyone likes to be admired, appreciated. And they say, oh, this guy, he knows who I am. Oh my God, I love this guy. This is not the case. I'm just telling you, be careful of those people.
Okay. Your favorite song?
Rim Jim Gire Savan.
What should people remember you for when you're not around?
The guy tried to bring change in our lives, and the guy was selfless, and he tried to do something. Whether I succeed or not, only time will tell me, or tell everybody. Sometimes people are not known for their successes. Many master painters, master artists, and many scientists as well, they never got recognition while they were alive. It's only later they were recognized posthumously, and their theories were correct. But I hope to see that within my lifetime.
So let's say if you're invisible for a day, what would you do?
I don't know. To be honest, I'll probably jump in my car and probably visit North.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, who is the best coach in your point of view?
The coach has to have that experience. I'm receiving coaching, by the way, right as of now. I don't want to name them because they don't want to maybe disclose it. But somebody from the industry, somebody that has fresh new ideas, somebody that understands what I'm doing, the kind of change I'm trying to make. So, I'm looking forward to some very good objective coaching from him, and let's see.
So one thing I will add on this is, if you want to take one thing away from all of this conversation is, there is a power of coaching. We always think the coaching only available for the professional athletes, but there's a business coaching which we haven't really experienced in Pakistan. Being so successful in business and life and still having a coach, you see the value of it. I think youth, they need to start finding those people who can coach them, guide them, mentor them.
In 2014, I was in London. I was based in London, and I was working on this startup, which is a brilliant idea, and it is working very well now in a slightly different shape. And I wanted to receive coaching. So there I discovered Robert Sharma, and I went specially to Toronto. When I asked you where you're from, so I went to Toronto in 2014. I attended his 48 hours transformation workshop. It was fantastic. The whole environment was buzzing. Met some great people there, and unfortunately that concept had a lot of support, but not enough for me to take it forward. In a way, I'm glad. It was too big. It was too huge money-wise.
At the same time, you're playing at the different league too right now. You're playing at the top league in Pakistan, in the world, right? So one thing is the environment. You have seen how it's in Canada, UK.
Yeah.
So one of my goal is here to, the way you've seen Robin Sharma, I've been a follower of Robin Sharma too, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, John Maxwell. I've privileged to met all of them and worked with them to learn, and inshallah bring that to Pakistan.
Yeah.
So one thing I would say is, if somebody needs your guidance or your presence in some events like this in future, where you're creating an environment for 2 days where they can learn from the industry leaders, would you be up for something like that, to give your insight and your expertise to people who are coming there, like mainly youth and young entrepreneurs?
I think it's very important for people to learn. Unfortunately, for certain stigmas, Pakistan don't attract the top of the top. We last 1 year has been good. We had some marketing gurus traveling into Pakistan, in Islamabad, in Karachi, in Lahore, and doing some good, gave that good exposure to the youth as well. The more it happens, the better. But at the same time, coaches from are within from, and you are doing a great job, mashallah. But more should step out, and more should get that international, global fame as well. It's a matter of appealing to how many people. It matters. Okay, the international coaches are good, but they do not understand the local Pakistan complexities. So it's only a coach from within this culture can do that. So our coaches should go from inside to outside world, and out from, and vice versa. Outside world should come into Pakistan to give that.
It has to be balanced because we're so culturally different in Pakistan as compared to the Western world. But at the same time, we can take the best learnings what they have, adapt to our culture. I think our culture is stronger when it comes to family orientation than anywhere else in the world. But how we can combine those together, I think inshallah that's one of our strengths in Pakistan.
Absolutely. Fahad, somebody asked me, what is your strength, biggest strength? I said my biggest strength is I'm a teacher, and even bigger strength is I'm a student. So unless I learn at this moment, I'm learning from you as well. And it's not just people are learning from me, I'm learning from my environment. Because unless I absorb the trends that you bring here, unless I learn from the youth I connect with, I will not be able to apply my learning, my experience, and give a different perspectives. So you have to learn from your environment and then teach back and give back.
You know, the beautiful thing you said, you are still a student and you're learning from your others. I always say, when I'm with my team too, when we are doing an event, I said, it will be a learning from me. They'll give me this look, they're like, really? But they don't understand that every opportunity is a learning opportunity. And learning never stops. That's the biggest thing. Since you just said you're always learning. That is one of the key things we need to be successful in our life, because we've got to keep growing, adapt. You said.
I must say I'm feeling jealous of you because you've been with Anthony Robbins so many times. I haven't really seen him in action. Inshallah, look forward to one of these days where he's
stepping down pretty soon. He says that, but he has his hologram coming out, so it's not going to be the same thing. But inshallah,
he's trying to use digital as much as he could. But if he's somewhere in the vicinity at Dubai or London, I would love to see him and be part of that process.
Australia. I think that's the next one.
Down under.
We'll plan someday.
Inshallah.
If I would have met you literally, honestly, 6 months ago, I would have actually invited you because I was still traveling at that time with him. So I had a very good access to get very good seats with him. So
you never know what nature has in store for us.
Imran, Mariam, or Bilawal?
Ayub Ghauri.
Well, thank you so much. It was a very insightful which you gave to the youth and to us. I think we all are learning so much from you. MashaAllah, you're doing so good in business for Pakistan healthcare, for your businesses, for youth, and if we can walk on that path, I think it's going to be a blessing. So thank you so much again for your time. If one last thing you want to share with everybody, that would be our privilege.
Thank you very much, Fahad. It's been a great conversation. I'm going to remember it always. One message for the youth. Never stop dreaming. Do not listen to noises. Always review your progress and see if the circumstances have changed. Do not be egotistical. Learn from your environment. Never say, oh, I said that 3 months back. How can I change that? Because realities have changed. Your experience have told you otherwise. So always go after your dream and keep at it.